Back for more Hunger Fun games. Now I'm going to be playing as the Sunny Patch characters on Hunger Games Simulator. Main reason is because I do those David Kirk book reviews on Archive. You ready? Let's begin. Here we go.
As the tributes stand on their podiums, the horn sounds. Wiggle runs away from the cornucopia. Spitterus runs away from the cornucopia. Spinner runs away from the cornucopia. Pillbug runs away from the cornucopia. Beat Rice runs away from the cornucopia. Spindella clutches a first aid kit and runs away. Dragon stays at the cornucopia for resources. Betty Beetle runs away from the cornucopia. Mr. Mantis takes a spear from inside the cornucopia. Bounce runs away from the cornucopia. Pansy takes a sickle from inside the cornucopia. Grub runs away from the cornucopia. Katie runs away from the cornucopia. Squirt and Shimmer fight for a bag. Squirt gives up and retreats. Snowdrop runs away from the cornucopia. Mama Snake grabs a backpack, not realizing it is empty. Cookie runs away from the cornucopia. Ned runs away from the cornucopia. Gus rips a mace out of Stinky's hands. Holly runs away from the cornucopia. Miss Spider runs away from the cornucopia. Ted retrieves a trident from inside the cornucopia. Holly practices his archery. Mama Snake begs for Ted to kill her. He refuses, keeping Mama Snake alive. Beat Rice falls into a pit and dies. Katie, Pillbug, Bounce, and Stinky raid Snowdrop's camp while she is hunting. Squirt sees smoke rising in the distance, but decides not to investigate. Wiggle and Spitterus hunt for other tributes. Shimmer picks flowers. Spindella explores the arena. Miss Spider receives fresh food from an unknown sponsor. Pansy tends to Ned's wounds. Dragon dies from hypothermia. Cookie diverts Grub's attention and runs away. Spinner makes a wooden spear. Mr. Mantis attacks Gus, but he manages to escape. Betty Beetle camouflages herself in the bushes. Shimmer and Pillbug talk about the tributes still alive. Gus and Katie talk about the tributes still alive. Miss Spider and Spindella sleep in shifts. Snowdrop receives clean water from an unknown sponsor. Ned receives medical supplies from an unknown sponsor. Cookie sets up camp for the night. Spinner stays awake all night. Bounce screams for help. Spitterus questions his sanity. Mr. Mantis receives a hatchet from an unknown sponsor. Wiggle receives fresh food from an unknown sponsor. Betty Beetle goes to sleep. Mama Snake sees a fire, but stays hidden. Holly and Squirt tell stories about themselves to each other. Grub receives an explosive from an unknown sponsor. Stinky cries himself to sleep. Ted defeats Pansy in a fight, but spares her life. Betty Beetle receives clean water from an unknown sponsor. Gus collects fruit from a tree. Spitterus, Miss Spider, Spindella, and Snowdrop hunt for other tributes. Ned dies from an infection. Mr. Mantis searches for firewood. Pillbug sprains his ankle while running away from Squirt. Shimmer defeats Pansy in a fight, but spares her life. Grub begs for Cookie to kill him. She refuses, keeping Grub alive. Mama Snake tries to spear fish with a trident. Bounce searches for firewood. Holly overhears Ted and Katie talking in the distance. Wiggle tries to spear fish with a trident. Stinky fishes. Spinner dies trying to escape the arena.
OMG. Alright, let's carry on.
Squirt passes out from exhaustion. Mr. Mantis and Wiggle tell stories about themselves to each other. Mama Snake questions her sanity. Pansy is awoken by nightmares. Shimmer receives fresh food from an unknown sponsor. Betty Beetle, Stinky, and Holly discuss the games and what might happen in the morning. Cookie tends to Spindella's wounds. Bounce's trap kills Spitterus. Katie, Ted, and Miss Spider sleep in shifts. Snowdrop, Gus, Grub, and Pillbug tell each other ghost stories to lighten the mood. Cookie, Holly, and Bounce hunt for other tributes. Snowdrop receives a hatchet from an unknown sponsor. Shimmer, Mama Snake, Squirt, and Pillbug raid Betty Beetle's camp while she is hunting. Miss Spider goes hunting. Spindella, Ted, Stinky, and Gus hunt for other tributes. Mr. Mantis kills Wiggle for his supplies. Grub and Pansy work together for the day. Katie dies from hypothermia.
Oh my.
Shimmer and Snowdrop huddle for warmth. Stinky destroys Holly's supplies while he is asleep. Ted lets Grub into his shelter. Gus stays awake all night. Bounce and Pillbug talk about the tributes still alive. Spindella cooks her food before putting her fire out. Miss Spider sees a fire, but stays hidden. Cookie receives fresh food from an unknown sponsor. Mama Snake sets up camp for the night. Betty Beetle and Squirt huddle for warmth. Pansy attempts to start a fire, but is unsuccessful. Mr. Mantis sees a fire, but stays hidden. Cookie attacks Snowdrop, but she manages to escape. Holly collects fruit from a tree. Betty Beetle and Squirt work together for the day. Grub thinks about home. Shimmer makes a slingshot. Pillbug attacks Miss Spider, but she manages to escape. Spindella, Pansy, and Gus hunt for other tributes. Ted, Mama Snake, Stinky, Mr. Mantis, and Bounce hunt for other tributes. Squirt receives fresh food from an unknown sponsor. Mama Snake questions her sanity. Cookie accidentally detonates a landmine while trying to arm it. Miss Spider, Betty Beetle, and Stinky discuss the games and what might happen in the morning. Pansy and Shimmer tell stories about themselves to each other. Holly spears Mr. Mantis in the abdomen. Pillbug lets Spindella into his shelter. Grub is unable to start a fire and sleeps without warmth. Gus stays awake all night. Snowdrop stays awake all night. Ted silently snaps Bounce's neck. Shimmer and Grub work together for the day. Stinky receives an explosive from an unknown sponsor. Spindella diverts Holly's attention and runs away. Betty Beetle fishes. Miss Spider overhears Snowdrop and Mama Snake talking in the distance. Pillbug sets an explosive off, killing Pansy, Gus, and Squirt. Ted tries to sleep through the entire day. Stinky, Snowdrop, Betty Beetle, and Ted sleep in shifts. Grub, Holly, and Spindella sleep in shifts. Pillbug lets Mama Snake into his shelter. Shimmer receives a hatchet from an unknown sponsor. Miss Spider thinks about winning. Miss Spider makes a wooden spear. Shimmer defeats Stinky in a fight, but spares his life. Ted, Pillbug, Betty Beetle, and Holly hunt for other tributes. Snowdrop dies from thirst. Spindella receives clean water from an unknown sponsor. Mama Snake searches for firewood. Grub receives an explosive from an unknown sponsor. Mama Snake tends to her wounds. Pillbug starts a fire. Miss Spider thinks about home. Shimmer and Grub talk about the tributes still alive. Stinky repeatedly stabs Betty Beetle to death with Sayus. Ted begs for Holly to kill him. He refuses, keeping Ted alive. Spindella cooks her food before putting her fire out. The cornucopia is replenished with food, supplies, weapons, and memoirs from the tribute's families. Mama Snake, Miss Spider, Holly, and Shimmer team up to grab food, supplies, weapons, and memoirs. Ted decides not to go to the feast. Pillbug convinces Grub to not kill him, only to kill him instead. Stinky strangles Spindella with a rope. Shimmer practices her archery. Miss Spider, Ted, Mama Snake, Holly, and Pillbug hunt for other tributes. Stinky unknowingly eats toxic berries.
Gosh. Uh-oh.
Miss Spider stabs Holly in the back with a trident. Shimmer receives medical supplies from an unknown sponsor. Ted tracks down and kills Mama Snake. Pillbug sets up camp for the night. Pillbug searches for firewood. Ted and Shimmer work together for the day. Miss Spider dies of dysentery.
Uh-oh.
Pillbug and Shimmer talk about the tributes still alive. Ted cooks his food before putting his fire out. Shimmer discovers a cave. Pillbug discovers a river. Ted accidentally steps on a landmine. Pillbug kills Shimmer with a sickle. The winner is Pillbug from District 12.
Very well played. This is how everyone did. Okay. I'm going to wrap it up for this buggy gameplay. I'll say I'll see you for the next one coming up. Because there's more in store coming up on my channel.